Beneath the dazzling lights of classic Hollywood during its golden era of film and cinema lurked secrets too scandalous for the silver screen. The golden age wasn't just about glamorous movies and vintage charm, it was also filled with hidden affairs, forbidden romances, and illegitimate children born in the shadows. While fans swooned over the stars of classic cinema behind the scenes, the truth was far more dramatic. From legendary actors to rising icons, these untold stories from Hollywood's golden past reveal a side of fame the vintage tabloids couldn't dare print. During the golden era of Hollywood, few names shone brighter than Charlie Chaplin. A pioneer of classic cinema, he transformed movies forever with his iconic tramp character. But behind the charming smile and comic genius was a vintage scandal that shook the world of film. In the early 1940s, while still married to actress Paulette Goddard, Chaplin began an affair with a young aspiring actress named Joan Barry. Their relationship was brief, but when Barry became pregnant, she claimed Chaplin was the father. Chaplin, however, denied it and insisted he wasn't responsible. What followed was one of the most sensational court battles of Hollywood's golden age. Even after 3 blood tests confirmed Chaplin was not the biological father, a jury ruled against him. In a decision fueled by public opinion and morality politics, he was ordered to pay child support for Carol Ann, Barry's daughter. The drama didn't stop there. Barry also accused Chaplin of violating the Mann Act, a law against transporting women across state lines for immoral purposes, since he had bought her a train ticket to Los Angeles. Though he was acquitted of the charge, the damage to his reputation was done. The scandal became a defining moment in vintage Hollywood history, casting a long shadow over one of cinema's most beloved legends. In a time when studios fiercely protected star images, Chaplin's very public fall from grace became a cautionary tale, and proof that even classic film icons couldn't outrun their secrets. In the glitzy world of golden-era Hollywood, Clark Gable reigned as the undisputed king of the screen. Known for his roles in classic films like Gone with the Wind, Gable's charm captivated audiences and defined a generation of cinema. But behind his leading man persona was a vintage scandal that the studios worked hard to bury: his secret child with actress Loretta Young. In 1935, during the filming of The Call of the Wild, Gable, who was married at the time, had an affair with Young, a devout Catholic known for her squeaky clean image in Hollywood. When she discovered she was pregnant, Young feared the fallout that could destroy both of their careers. In an era when unwed motherhood could end a woman's place in movies, she vanished from the spotlight. Young secretly gave birth to a daughter, Judy Lewis, then placed the baby in a Catholic orphanage. Months later, she adopted her own child, claiming it was a charitable act. To the public, it was just another feel-good tale from classic Hollywood. But in reality, it was a carefully orchestrated cover-up to hide a love child born from one of the most powerful actors of vintage cinema. Clark Gable never publicly acknowledged Judy, though rumors swirled for decades. It wasn't until Judy was in her 30s that Loretta finally told her the truth. This hidden chapter in Hollywood's golden age is a reminder that beneath the glamour of old films lay secrets far more dramatic than any script. In the golden glow of Hollywood's classic cinema, few figures match the swagger and allure of Frank Sinatra. He wasn't just a music icon, he was a movie star who lit up the screen during the golden era. But years after his heyday, whispers about an alleged secret child would pull Sinatra's name back into the spotlight, tying him to one of the most intriguing modern mysteries linked to vintage Hollywood. The controversy centers around Ronan Farrow, the son of actress Mia Farrow. While Ronan was long believed to be the biological child of director Woody Allen, fans couldn't ignore the classic Sinatra features: those piercing blue eyes, the jawline, the unmistakable resemblance. Then, in a 2013 interview, Mia dropped a bombshell. Frank Sinatra might very well be Ronan's father. During the 1960s, Sinatra and Farrow were briefly married. Though they divorced, Mia later claimed they never really split up. The timeline of her continued connection with Sinatra and Ronan's birth in 1987 fueled public speculation. Ronan, a respected journalist, has refused DNA testing, adding even more mystery. Whether he is Sinatra's son or not, the story taps into the enduring fascination with Hollywood's vintage secrets. In the world of classic film legends, even the unanswered questions feel cinematic. By the time Clint Eastwood became a household name in Hollywood, he was already crafting a legacy that would span decades of classic films. Known for his steely gaze and tough guy roles, Eastwood defined masculinity in cinema's golden era and beyond. But off-screen, his personal life was filled with twists worthy of their own movie script, including a hidden affair that led to a son the public wouldn't learn about for years. In the 1980s, while still legally married to Maggie Johnson, Eastwood began a secret relationship with flight attendant Jocelyn Reeves. From that affair came Scott Eastwood, born in 1986, and later his sister Catherine. Rather than announcing his paternity, Clint quietly supported the children behind the scenes, financially involved but publicly distant. Scott grew up away from the spotlight, even using his mother's last name while auditioning in Hollywood. Determined not to ride his father's coattails, he built his own path into the film industry. Eventually, the truth emerged. Clint Eastwood, the face of vintage cinema, had been living a double life. And this wasn't his only affair. Clint also fathered other children with different women, including a daughter Kimber in 1964. In the carefully controlled world of Golden Age Hollywood, Eastwood's personal story reminds us that even icons of classic movies kept secrets just off camera. Tyrone Power was the very definition of dashing in classic Hollywood. A leading man in the 1930s and 1940s, he captivated audiences in Golden Era films like The Mark of Zorro and Blood and Sand. On screen, he was every bit the romantic hero. But off-screen, Power's love life was far more complicated. One of the most tragic chapters involved his intense relationship with fellow movie star Lana Turner. During the late 1940s, Power and Turner were caught in a whirlwind romance. Though he was married at the time, their connection was undeniable. Fans were obsessed with their chemistry and gossip columns couldn't get enough. But what the public didn't know was that Turner became pregnant during their affair. Fearing scandal and knowing that an unwed pregnancy could destroy her career, Turner made the painful decision to terminate the pregnancy. She later admitted this in her memoirs, revealing how deeply the experience affected her. In an industry obsessed with image, her choice was one of survival. Turner would go on to face more heartbreak and headlines, but this quiet, hidden moment stayed with her forever. In the world of vintage cinema, where appearances meant everything, her story stands as a reminder of the sacrifices many women made to stay in the Hollywood spotlight. Steve McQueen, the king of cool, was one of the most magnetic stars of the 1960s and 70s, a true icon of classic Hollywood. Known for hits like Bullet, The Great Escape, and The Thomas Crown Affair, McQueen brought a rugged intensity to the screen that defined an era of cinema. But behind the tough guy image and Hollywood swagger was a man whose personal life was as wild and unpredictable as the roles he played. McQueen was notorious for his rebellious nature and his endless string of affairs. While married to his first wife, Neely Adams, he was frequently unfaithful, entangled with actresses, models, and fans alike. Among these affairs were rumored encounters that may have resulted in illegitimate children, though none were publicly confirmed during his lifetime. In the years following his death in 1980, several women came forward claiming McQueen had fathered children with them. While none of these claims were definitively proven, they added to the mystique surrounding one of vintage Hollywood's most enigmatic figures. In an industry obsessed with image, McQueen's off-screen reputation became almost as legendary as his films. His story reflects the blurred line between fame and secrecy in Golden Age and post-Golden Era movies, where stardom often came at the cost of personal responsibility. Even decades later, the rumors of Steve McQueen's hidden children keep fans wondering what other secrets remain buried in the shadows of classic cinema. Marlon Brando wasn't just a star. He was a force that reshaped classic Hollywood. With unforgettable performances in A Streetcar Named Desire and On the Waterfront, Brando brought a raw, magnetic intensity to cinema's golden era. But beyond the screen, his personal life was just as dramatic, marked by passion, turmoil, and a string of affairs that blurred the line between love and chaos. One of his most famous and heartbreaking relationships was with actress Rita Moreno. Their affair spanned nearly a decade, filled with emotional highs and devastating lows. Brando, known for his womanizing, often cheated on Moreno, yet she kept returning to him, consumed by love, confusion, and obsession. During one of their reconciliations, Rita became pregnant with Brando's child. What followed was a moment of darkness she never forgot. Brando, fearing the scandal and unwilling to face the consequences, arranged for her to have an abortion. Moreno later revealed the trauma was so overwhelming that she attempted to take her own life. The emotional scars would linger for years, even as her career soared in classic films and musicals like West Side Story. Brando went on to father at least 11 children with multiple women, many out of wedlock, creating a tangled web of relationships that matched his larger-than-life persona. In vintage Hollywood, few stories capture both the brilliance and the emotional wreckage of fame like the secret heartbreak shared between Brando and Moreno. Spencer Tracy was one of classic Hollywood's most respected actors, known for his powerful performances in golden-era films like Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, Captain's Courageous, and Boys Town. Behind the scenes, however, Tracy lived a complex double life that embodied the quiet scandals of vintage cinema. Though he was married to Louise Treadwell for most of his life, Tracy was famously involved in a decades-long relationship with screen legend Katharine Hepburn. Their affair began in the early 1940s and lasted until his death in 1967. But what many don't know is that Tracy also had rumored affairs with other women, and at least one alleged love child. Reports surfaced in later years suggesting that Spencer Tracy may have fathered a child outside his marriage, though no one ever publicly claimed him as their biological father, and no DNA confirmation exists. Some biographers and Hollywood insiders have alluded to secret arrangements and quiet financial support made by Tracy to women from his past. What makes Tracy's story particularly poignant is the emotional burden he carried. A devout Catholic, he never divorced his wife and kept his relationship with Hepburn hidden from the public. In the golden glow of Hollywood cinema, his legacy remains that of a committed actor. But behind the curtain, his personal life was anything but simple. Hollywood's golden age gave us unforgettable movies, timeless stars, and stories that still captivate. But behind the glamour was a world of secrets, scandal, and forbidden love. These hidden lives remind us that even the legends of classic cinema were only human. If you enjoyed this dive into vintage Hollywood, don't forget to like, subscribe, and uncover more untold stories with us.